Hey, what's up, guys? Face Review, I know. Well, welcome back to the channel. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to see if the 6500 XT is actually worth it. There's been a lot of controversy about the subject, but, like the reduced bandwidth and stuff like that. And for most people, the biggest drawback to this card is that there's no AV1 decoding. And so, the problem is that, you can't record. But then again, it is a really good card for 1080p gaming if that's what you're into. So if you're just into 1080p gaming, at the current market price of like, what is it, $190, which is a pretty good price. I mean, I think it might be worth it, but keep in mind there's no AV1 decoding. So I think that's a big drawback for me. But if you're in an older system and you're using PCI 3.0, 2.0, or even 1.0, which probably no one's using, but there will be performance hits, but not as big as many people think. Is this thing for $190 worth it? You can also compare this card to a similar card that I got for around the same price range. Yeah, but yeah, these are both around. I got them for both around $210. This is supposed to be 110 watt card, I believe, but this card has not gotten above 93 watts from what I've seen. This card is always stuck at 75, maybe hit 76 at some time because it's limited to PCI. Yeah, we can compare these cards in the future, but for now, we're just gonna be seeing if this one's worth it. You can see the unboxing experience is very simple, just cardboard, the card in it, surrounded by obviously some anti-static. That's pretty much it, and the instructions are under, obviously. This GPU goes from around 179. I mean, that's probably the low, the 174, I guess, is the true low. The most you'd pay is like 250. And I mean, for what you're getting, it is pretty good 1080p gaming. Then again, there is things like the 6600 XT, which can also like outdo it a lot. This version of the card, by the way, they also have a light one that only has sort of like the 6500 XT only has 2 slots. Either way, yeah. So you get a 6600 XT for about $300, so there's not a lot of point in the 6500 XT that price. Whenever you get like a way better performer that you could actually record on for this price. It all depends on like the budget that you have, and the fact that it goes as low as 170 for the 6500 and this one, and also for like ITX rig. And I found it to be like crazy power efficient. Like I'll show you what I mean. Whenever I hop in Minecraft, I'm using like 14 watts of power from the GPU, even though it's supposed to be like 110 watt GPU. Maybe it's just like this version or like something's like wrong or something, but it's honestly fine. So actually, oh never mind, whoops, that was locked. So if you lock it, it barely uses any power. And if you unlock it, it still doesn't use that much power in the lock. But yeah, it's kind of weird that way. Yeah, but barely uses any power whenever playing Minecraft. And of course, temps are phenomenal. Let's go back to Bed Wars. Let's see what it does whenever you play Bed Wars. Okay, of course, a little bit more power usage. You zoom in, but it doesn't really use like. I mean, of course you're getting a lot of FPS, but it doesn't use like. It's pretty power efficient in the way that I get like, like good FPS while also like doing games like this while using 13 watts of power, which is like less than 1030 would use, and it'd be like. But yeah, I think that's definitely a driver issue. Yeah. On the other hand, a game where you can really crank it is like Red Dead. For example, ultra and high settings for all these. Guess I don't need MSA or FSA. Okay, and then yeah, pretty much almost like ultra for everything. Yeah, games like Red Dead run pretty good in this. I'm having some recording issues. I'm not really sure why it's 7 FPS for you guys, but for me it's better just because this is like some of the high settings you get. It's doing like pretty well for Red Dead Redemption. Whenever my 1650 at these settings get like if you're gonna play Red Dead, this is definitely a good card for that. Yeah, but comparing the RX 6500 XT to the normal 1650, it boasts like a 25% advantage in like titles, and these are like the specs are pretty similar. This one has a smaller bus width, and it has like pretty much a really small die, like a laptop die essentially. But they ran it at really high clock speeds essentially, and it's able to do some pretty good stuff. So yeah, it's definitely not suited for like 2K unless you're playing like Minecraft. Of course, Minecraft, but even in like Minecraft, OpenGL, so NVIDIA would have advantage over OpenGL. But if you're running like games with different APIs or like hard run games, you could experiment different APIs, and this one always pulls out ahead. So yeah, I think it's definitely a pretty good thing to consider. Honestly, you could choose which one you want. They're both very similar cards, but I think right now, if you're just gonna game and not really like record, this one would definitely be a better choice. The 6500 XT, if you have a PCI 4.0 system. If you have a PCI 3.0 system, it still actually might be a better choice. And you could even go for the 6400 XT, which costs even less, and it's kind of like almost the same thing. But at the price difference, I think maybe just get a 6500 XT. I'm gonna be honest here. I mean, yeah, and the cooler, this model specifically, the cooler is like actually terrible. It's whining so much. Always consider these. I mean, this is actually a tiny bit worse than the 1650. It's way more efficient. What does it use? Like, forgot how much it uses. It barely uses like almost no watts of power. Always consider these options, and remember that these two cards, 6400 XT and 6500 XT, they have no encoders, so no AV1 encoder. So like me, you'd have to use a CPU to record, which could turn out good, but it could also turn out pretty bad. You don't know what you're doing, and it could also be hard to use for some applications. And it's obviously more intensive, so you gotta have a pretty good CPU if you want to record using a CPU, and especially stream. So if you're planning on streaming or recording for budget, this one, or future plans like that. And also if you're gonna play Minecraft, probably I'd recommend this one. But if you are gonna do something that's like you're gonna play some like Red Dead or like maybe Cyberpunk or just like any intensive game and you don't really care about recording, this one's actually a pretty good choice, especially if you have a newer system that supports PCI 4.0. For example, if you have like a system that's up to i9 to 900, up to that, it wouldn't even support PCI 4.0, so you want to be getting full performance out of it. I would recommend it under certain circumstances, but actually it's looking better and better of a deal, especially if you have a strong CPU. You could still record if you really want to, but I would mainly just get it because it's pretty good, especially if you want to play like Red Dead or some more intensive games. But keep in mind, it makes almost no sense, especially whenever compared to the 6600 XT. Yeah, if you're able to get this one, it makes almost no sense to get 1650 or any of the other ones, because this thing's a beast. This is better than the 3050 actually, for like way less of a cost. But yeah, I'm getting carried away, so that about concludes it. And I would say this 6500 XT, at least in my experience, is definitely worth it. But it always depends.